Tony Ford, who'd stayed forward, looking for Livingston, and he took it. Got Mendonca behind him, but he's facing the wrong way. Not sure if that's exactly what he intended. May have just been trying to cut it back into the penalty area. In the end, it was only just over the bar. Ron Atkinson standing up already. Delian Atkinson. Teal. Straight to Tony Ford. And it's Grimsby who are showing the most flair and imagination in these first 10 minutes. Childs again. Livingston, oh, we nearly got it back to him. Groves. Tony Ford available out on the right. This is pleasing to the home crowd. Oh, you'll do well to outrun Daly. It's Villa who get the throw. Maybe Tony Ford would have done better to just knock that in at the first opportunity rather than trying to outrun the Villa player. This is Townsend. And cut out by Futcher. This is Dobbin. Childs. It didn't quite work that time. Saunders leaves it, well, looks as though he was going to leave it for Atkinson, but now here's Atkinson testing the pace of Handysides, and he's got away from Peter Handysides. Houghton's in the middle, must score, 1-0 Villa, and it was clinical. Ray Houghton milks the praise, his 4th goal of the season, but number 5, Peter Handysides, was just caught out by the persistence and the strength and the pace of Delian Atkinson. And that's a big disappointment for the 19-year-old Scottish under-21 international. And maybe it's an early warning as well of the quality that there is in the Villa side, and having taken that lead early in the match, that will help Villa to settle the nerves, and maybe this cup tie at Grimsby won't be the ordeal that it might otherwise have been. Alan Buckley. Well, he's enjoyed giant-killing exploits in the FA Cup as a player. Throws back to Futcher. Oh, Teal took an elbow then from Livingston. I don't think there can be any doubt about it. He reacted very angrily, and Livingston responded, and that was a very ugly flashpoint. And at first judgment from the commentary box, Livingston guilty of jumping with his elbows up, and that's something which is a real talking point in the game, which both the Professional Footballers Association and the FA and the Football League indeed are trying to stamp out. And Teal, I'm sure, is getting his point across that the head-to-head afterwards was a direct result of the elbow, and shirt on his back is in absolute tatters. I mean, there was real anger in the flashpoint. And what will Ian Hemley decide is the fitting punishment for either player? And there's looks of concern on the face of Ron Atkinson, because there must be a possibility of both of them going. And the way Sean Teal's reacting, that is the outcome, and that is a disappointing incident early on in a match which had been entertaining and good football, but the elbow was up. There can't be any question of that, and Teal was very angry, having taken one across the bridge of the nose. What followed, the referee decided, was unforgivable, and they're both off. That'll be a very big disappointment to Sean Teal, I can tell you. And maybe, well, the referee will feel he's acted in the letter of the law, but maybe a firm word would have been a better outcome. Maybe the yellow card for Livingston. But it's 2 teams of 10 who will have to battle out the remaining 3/4 of this match. Townsend. And Houghton up to Townsend. And for the moment, Villa have pulled Kevin Richardson back to play in the heart of the defence alongside McGrath. They've got Neil Cox and Dwight York on the substitutes bench. And yes, Villa have decided instantly to make a change. Cox is a more accomplished defender. He comes on to replace Tony Daly. And now it looks as if Earl Barrett has moved into the centre of defence. Cox has gone right back. And Richardson has resorted to midfield again. There's Neil Cox, former Scunthorpe trainee, so he's local to the area. Childs trying to tee somebody up. It was behind Childs. Gilbert's on it. Another corner. And the double sending off seems to have unsettled Villa a little bit more than Grimsby at the moment. Corner taken short. Here's Ford. Good left foot ball in, and there were two right in on Bosnich, and all of them missed it. Well, that could absolutely have gone anywhere, couldn't it? And Donker was in, so too was Paul Groves. They both missed it, as did the keeper. Here's Groves, only Mendonca ahead of him. That's for Mendonca to chase. Barrett's sprinting across to cover him. Groves peels off. This is Childs. Pulled it down very well. Ford. Again, it's good football from Grimsby. Oh, Mendonca. He looked as if he was pushed. And Grimsby have appealed. Ford, who knocked it in. Now, how much contact was there between him and Earl Barrett? Maybe not that much. And that looks like Dwight York taking off the bottom half of the tracksuit, which may mean another substitution. This is the moment when Dean Saunders picked up his injury. Nobody was near him at the time. It was a twist, maybe in the small of the back, but it's sufficient to mean that Dean Saunders cannot continue, and so Dwight York will come on. So Villa have been forced to use both their outfield substitutes. Butcher, as we move into a second minute of stoppage time in this first half. Half-time, Villa lead by 1-0. The slip by Peter Handysides, which allowed Atkinson in, and he delivered the ball to Ray Houghton. But Villa going off at half-time without three of the players who started the match. Teal sent off, Saunders injured, and Daly pulled off as well. So there's a lot of talking to do in the dressing room for Ron Atkinson, even though his team lead here by 1-0. Grimsby have only suffered one home defeat here at Glenville Park this season, beaten here 1-0 by Charlton back in October. But equally, they've only won 3 of 12 home league games in Division 1, and most of their results here have been drawn. 12 matches drawn in all out of 26. So, on that evidence, a draw the most likely outcome against Villa. We shall see if they can finally get a goal. Neil Cox. Some of the passion has just gone out of this match. And that will be of benefit to Villa, I would have thought. A goal to the good. Who out-jumped Mendonca. This is Childs. Nice touch by Groves. Barrett had covered it. Groves got away from him. Paul Groves. Grimsby have equalised. And it's always been on the cards. And it's as if somebody has suddenly ignited the whole of the crowd. There was the first touch from Groves, and then Barrett looked favourite, but somehow he tucked it round him, and he beat Bosnich for his 7th goal of the season. And with over half an hour left to play, the team from Division 1 have it back level, 1 apiece, against the team from the Premier Division. Groves got a bit of it, Barrett lost it. Who had the last touch? Corner. And it's Gilbert who's jogging across to take this for Grimsby. Tony Ford is close to him, but looks as if he's going to knock it into the box. That was technique short. Gilbert again. Flick on by Groves, McGrath, and Villa survive. And Futcher will have to use the keeper. McGrath again the saviour, and it was Groves who got the little flick on, and McGrath who acrobatically got it out. Greyhound. Richardson free in the middle. It was Gilbert who got into him. Childs. Groves, who's shown some good touches. Mendonca with McGrath. Oh, Paul McGrath, immaculate. And didn't that little moment just sum up what a good match McGrath's had and how important he's been to them? Here's Atkinson, who's peeled away from Futcher. Dwight York out wide on the left. Just the two of them forward. There's nobody else here for Villa. Maybe they don't need anybody else. Dwight York. It's a killer blow. It's cruel, but Villa lead by 2 goals to 1. And Dwight York, only his 3rd appearance of the season. Only used as a substitute. Twice in recent matches, and then on this afternoon when he was required. Handy side slipped, he went wide of Futcher, and from just inside the penalty area beat Crichton at the foot of the post. It was an excellent goal with 12 minutes left, and it's given Villa that little bit of space in which to breathe. But that goal came only seconds after what for me was a match-saving tackle by Paul McGrath at the other end, under real pressure from Mendonca. He just got his foot on it and got it back to his keeper. Dwight York, back to Raham. Shakespeare in pursuit. And the ball off the Grimsby player. Villa with another throw. And a few more seconds Inkman. Dwight York. Villa in full voice as the match moves into stoppage time. Cox. Dwight York, the goal scorer, in possession on the final whistle. Ron Atkinson's team are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, but it was a close run thing. And both sets of supporters applaud what's been a really fine match. McGrath was absolutely outstanding in the second half. The goal from Paul Groves kept the Grimsby dream alive for 21 minutes until Dwight York knocked in that second Villa goal on 78 minutes. When Villa had been pressed back on defence for long spells. In the end, another tidy performance by Villa, who had to win away at Exeter in the 3rd round, and winning away here at 1st Division Grimsby in round 4. Dwight York accepts all the congratulations, and it's a happy journey home for Aston Villa. Final score, Grimsby 1, Aston Villa 2. Regardless of the rights and wrongs of the incident, Teal was sent off along with Livingston. How did you feel about that?
Well, I suppose it was inevitable. I mean, players can't raise the fists to each other. There looked a bit of squabbling after the after the thing as opposed to actual fist, but the referee, in his wisdom, I mean, a lot of people might have just said, let's book him, calm the thing down and let play go on.
No one was badly injured. He could have booked us both and just said, look, be careful and get on with it. I've gone up for the header and Steve Livingston's come across and his elbow's clearly up. And the worst thing for me is I can see the elbow coming. And whether Steve means it or not, I mean, the elbow's there and there's not much I can do about it. It's going to hit me. And in fact, it does hit me.
Where did it hit?
Just above me left eye. I mean, not hard, albeit, but I mean, I suppose it incensed me a bit, really.
Well, a word about that in a moment, Trev. But first of all, Grimsby have got a recent tradition of playing nice football, and they played quite nice football there, but it wasn't good enough for them.
Yeah, well, their manager Alan Buckley has always tried to encourage his players to pass, and I mean, they started superbly in the opening 10 and 11 minutes. In fact, the actual goal that Villa got was almost their first attack. And I think sometimes when you look at sides that come up into the Premier League, the managers say some of the difference is that they get punished for their mistakes by quality strikers, and I think we saw that not only with Dwight York's winner, but in fact the opening goal. I mean, Dalian Atkinson's pace definitely caused the young central defender Peter Handyside huge problems. Here, Dean Saunders knocks it back. You see Dalian Atkinson there just jogging, and as we stop him there, I mean, what is he, 5 yards behind Peter Handyside? And as the ball's knocked over the top, look at the yards that he takes out the defender. And I think the defender thinks, well, I've got a couple of yards here, I'm okay, but he just loses his concentration. Dalian Atkinson does exceptionally well then, unselfishly squares it, and even we would have had a chance of putting that one in as Ray Houghton, very grateful. But, you know, that quality, I think, you know, in the strikers is the important factor. Now, we've got the sending off here, and as soon as I saw this, as you see Steve Livingston going up, he leads with the elbow, he's not looking at the ball, and as Sean Teal heads it, there's only going to be one point of contact, the elbow, and as soon as I saw it, I think to myself, well, he's got to have the red card, and it was just a question then. You see Sean Teal swing his arm around as they go down. He didn't make contact then. After that, it's a fairly firm grip, I must say, but I mean, Paul McGrath does very well to try and pull them away, and all those players coming in are actually just trying to separate them more than anything else, and it's just a question now whether the referee sends off Sean Teal as well for retaliation. Personally, I don't think it should have been equal punishment. I think Livingston definitely should have got the red card and Sean Teal a yellow.
Those elbowing offences are so dangerous, as has been proved already then. Well, Francis Lee, the one-time Manchester City favourite, has completed his deal to take over his old club, but of course the team's in desperate trouble, struggling in the relegation area in the league, and today facing a tough cup tie.
Well, following this incident, Livingston protested his innocence. The referee sent both off for the fracas. Grimsby's goal was well taken by Paul Groves. A draw, perhaps, would have been a fair result. But when has the FA Cup been even-handed? Dwight York's sealing Villa's win after a stumble gave him oceans of space. Barnsley will fancy their chances at Oakwell now after holding Plymouth, thanks to Andy Payton's contribution.
Welcome to Fantasy Football League. This week we introduce our Fantasy Cup competition.
And we'll be meeting guest managers Eddie Large and Sue Johnston.
Yeah, and we'll be recreating one of the most famous free kicks of all time.